to like start getting up on their feet. But then, you know, they'll send me to school. They work 2, 3 jobs, 4 jobs, whatever, or going to school to try to better our lives. But in the middle of that, they didn't necessarily teach us about being Haitian. It was just like, you're Haitian, you're here, right? So you get the culture at home, but once you step out of those doors, it's like you're on your own. And what happens is, you don't really know what it is to be Haitian except for maybe your food that you eat and maybe speaking Creole, but we don't get that education of what it means to be proud to be Haitian a lot of times from home, because our parents are working so hard, right? They want to provide, they want to make sure you're fed, they want to make sure you get your education. So they send you to school for education, but they don't teach you about Haiti and why you should be proud to be Haitian. Right, so I grew up kind of being ashamed of that, because when you go out, people talk about like you know, people's view of Haiti in the media and out there is very negative. I grew up in the 80s in New York, and it wasn't necessarily cool to be Haitian. There's all this negative stuff like AIDS and broke people and this, that, and the other. So if you don't know what it means to be proud to be where you're from, then stuff like that can affect you, right, in a negative way. So that's how I grew up, right? Not necessarily being proud to be where I came from. But it wasn't until I started reading about my history was when I started getting more prideful. I started reading about the Haitian Revolution, right? I started reading about Dessalines, Boukman, Toussaint, Makandal, and all of these guys that fought for the freedom of black people that were enslaved, right? And not only fought them, beat them. Right? This was huge information for me, because I didn't know anything like that happened in history before. So now I'm reading about all of this stuff, and I'm like, wow, this is what it means to be proud to be Haitian, right? So I start reading and reading and reading and reading about it. And then next thing you know, I'm telling everyone that will listen about the Haitian Revolution, and we were the first Black Republic and all that. And what I realized is a lot of people didn't know that. Right? A lot of people don't know anything about Haitian history. They just know what they see on TV. Right? And you know what it is, what Haiti is on TV, right? It's earthquakes, it's hurricanes, it's people eating trees, it's, you know, all types of crazy stuff. Right? So I made it my mission to teach the story of Haiti that makes us proud. Because all Haitians that I meet, they're proud Haitians, right? And one of the things that we all could agree on, well, most of us could agree on, not every Haitian could agree on everything, but one thing that we rally around is our history, right? And that's what I want to bring to the forefront. And so what I did, I started writing books about it. And this was my first book. It was called Haiti, the First Black Republic. Right? So I kind of talk about the whole story from, you know, the Taínos, because I want kids to know that there were people there before Columbus and before the Europeans. Right? There were people that were living there. There was the Taínos, Anacaona, Kaanabo, people like that. Then I go into slavery, and then I go into our rebels that fought back. Makandal, Boukman, Cecile Fatima, Sanité Belair, Dessalines, Boukman, and Toussaint, and all those guys, and how we won our independence in January 1st, 1804. So I put it in sort of like an illustrated version so that kids could be interested in the history, right? But also us, it's a great reminder. We don't have to read a 400-page book, you know what I mean, to kind of understand why it means to be proud to be Haitian. So this book did very, very well. I sold thousands and thousands of copies of this book. So I went out and I kept on writing, right? So I did my next book about Makandal. Anyone know the story of Makandal? You know the story of Makandal? So Makandal was he was an African from Congo, Africa. He was the son of a village chief. His village gets raided by slave traders. They capture him, bring him over to to Saint-Domingue, which is the colonial name for Haiti. And then he's working as an enslaved African on the plantation. Then he maroons into the mountains. He starts a whole maroon rebellion against the slave masters. Starts poisoning all the slave masters. And they catch him, like maybe 8 years later. And he says that he's going to come back as a mosquito to continue to torture the slave masters, right? And then they throw him into the fire, and then he jumps out of the fire, right? And then there's two versions of the story. The one version is they catch him again, they throw him back into the fire, and he dies. And then the second version is he gets away and escapes back into the mountains, right? So I
like that version.
I like that version too.
I like that.
But the reason I like that version better is because usually when they capture a major figure like a Makandal, they'll execute you, decapitate you, put your head on a pike, you know, all types of stuff as a warning to other rebellions, rebels. But they didn't do that with Makandal. So that leads me to believe that they didn't have a body to do it, so he got away. So, but also, he said he's going to come back as a mosquito, right? So 30 years later, one of the reasons the Haitians were successful in our revolution against France was the spread of yellow fever against the Europeans, right? And the thing that was spreading that yellow fever was what?
Mosquito.
Makandal coming back to fulfill his legacy. Yeah. So that's Makandal. That was my second book. I wrote about that story. And then now the reason that I'm on this tour right now is because of this book, my latest book, which is Boukman, right? Boukman, Black Revolution. And and this is the Black Revolution book tour that you guys are at now. And it was great. I mean, it was a great experience doing the research. The research is the best part of writing a book, right? Because you get to learn new things and share what you learn with people. But this is my new baby, right? So what I'm gonna do is, I don't know, you want me to do like a quick story about this? Like, you want to know about Boukman real quick?
Come on. That's why you're here. Yeah, let's get it.
I don't have a big presentation set up or anything.